Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. We're on another week, and I am super excited to share with you our new series, The Big Leap. So, if we are meeting for the first time, my name is Brianna Anninger, and I am passionate about empowering and inspiring people just like you to truly wake up and live. And this series is truly going to help that. I'm super excited to share with you our episode 1. Good morning, Amanda. Good morning, George. Good morning, Kara. If you can think of anybody that wants success in their life, that maybe something is holding them back, go ahead and invite them to this broadcast, because this is going to be a wealth of knowledge, golden nuggets to get you to your potential, okay? One of my friends, Suzanne Rose, she recommended this book, and I'm only on the first chapter, and I am blown away, okay? So, let's get into it. I'm super excited to share with you guys. Hi, Mike! Okay, so the first one is feeling good now. Now, this is really crazy because I feel like I'm at a point in my life right now that I've had some great success with my business, great success, with my marriage with Mike, and with my friends, but there's just something missing. Wonder what that could be, right? And I'm sure that probably some of you probably feel that way too. That you reach this point and you're just like, okay, why am I feeling stuck? Why aren't I growing, right? So here is your answer. It is called the upper limit problem, okay? So first we want to focus on feeling good in the moment. I believe that sometimes we really get caught up in the future. Now, it's great to have those vision boards and to have those goals for the future. But at the same time, it is so important to be appreciative of the moments that you have now. Be thankful for the family that you have. Be thankful for the gifts that, God has given us to share with the world. Be thankful for the money that you have now. It may not be the money that you want, but be thankful for what you have now. Be thankful for the house that you have over your head. If you don't have a house, be thankful for the couch that you're sitting on, if friends are helping you. So just be thankful in that moment now. It's so important to have that conscious effort every day to be thankful now. Okay, so that's the first step. The second one is, this was really interesting. Ready for it? Is that when you have fear, it is the same, the mechanism that gives you fear is the same mechanism that gives you excitement. So think about that for a second. When you are really, really excited, how do you feel? Your heart kind of pivots, right? You have this euphorial moment, right? But when fear happens, what happens? Well, your heart pivots too, right? Maybe your blood or something, your circulation of your blood, there you go, that it rises. I know that I start turning really red when I get really nervous and my fear starts to kick in. But at the same time, when that happens, it's almost like when fear happens, it pushes you into that excitement mode, right? So this was really, really interesting that I have my notes so I stay on track. Okay. So the same mechanism that produces excitement produces fear. And any fear can be turned into excitement by fully breathing with it. So what does that mean? A lot of times with fear, we try to avoid it, right? We try to avoid the most painful situations. We don't want to feel bad. We want to always feel good, which is really important. But at the same time, instead of trying to avoid whatever fear that is, take it in and don't allow it to control you, but to breathe with it, okay? So when we hold our breath, usually when we have fear, we're like, right? When we hold our breath, that actually is a psychological tool of denial, okay? So instead of ignoring the fear, you want to take deep breaths and breathe with it, okay? So if you enjoyed that, go ahead and comment helpful. And again, if you can think of anybody that is going to gain knowledge from this, go ahead and invite them to this broadcast, okay? Now, our third one is how our upper limit works. Well, how our upper limit works is that we have an inner thermostat that it determines how much love, how much success, and how much creativity we allow ourselves to enjoy, okay? So it's kind of really interesting that this book, it's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendrick, that it goes along with our other books that we have been reading, right? We've been reading the Personality Plus, the 5 Love Languages, that it all kind of correlates because with Personality Plus, we have our different personalities, right? And how we learn how to communicate with one another. Our 5 love languages is how we communicate love. Now we have our inner thermostat where it determines how much love, how much success, and how much creativity that we allow ourselves to enjoy, okay? So, how do we get this inner thermostat? Well, we get this inner thermostat when we are born as children. Our environment around us teaches us so much, right? So one of the things is that when we exceed our inner thermostat setting, we often do something to sabotage ourselves. So what this means is that we subconsciously basically keep ourselves in our comfort zone. There we go. So we try to stay safe because fear and that pain we want to avoid, right? And so it makes us stay in our comfort zone where we stay stuck and we don't grow, okay? So that is our inner thermostat. So if you make a leap in one area in your life, guilt will usually set in. Now, I can definitely relate to this, and I'm sure that probably you guys can too, is that when this comes from the inner thermostat programmed as a child. So in the book, he gives an example of when children grow up with other children in the home, okay? And let's say that this child is really, really great at a particular sport. So maybe it's softball, maybe it's basketball, maybe it's football, okay? And maybe the other children are not so good at it, okay? They're brothers and sisters. So they're outside. Let's say that they're practicing. Let's do basketball, for instance, because I played basketball when I was younger, okay? I was center, so I could definitely relate to this. So you can be the child, let's say that we're the child, right? That we're outside and we're practicing and we're doing so good. We're throwing those free throws and we're making them and we're making them and we're making them. And all of a sudden we have our brothers and sisters that they're outside and maybe we're playing with each other, right? That they're being the other person and they're throwing them, but they're missing them, okay? So we turn and we look over at our mom or we look over our dad and they're excited because you're making those free throws. But when they look at their other children, it's almost like, not a disappointment, but it's just kind of like, oh, they didn't make it, right? So we program in our minds that inner thermostat, that feeling of achieving, doing those free throws, that maybe we should hold back a little bit. Because if we hold back, then our brothers and sisters won't be feeling alienated, right? So this inner program of our inner thermostat, remember that it is that gauge of how much love we allow ourselves to feel, how much success and basically money that we allow ourselves to get, and how much creativity that we put out in the world is programmed by that inner thermostat. Isn't that interesting? I thought that was very interesting. So then what ends up happening with that is that we are kept in different zones, like the incompetence zone, our competence zone, our excellence zone, and not getting to our zone of genius, okay? So I think about this, and you probably are wondering, what zones is she talking about, right? So we're going to go into a little bit about what the zones are. The zone of genius, I want you to think about, it's your zone of courageous, okay? It's your courageous zone. You're stepping into your courageous zone with the zone of genius. So we're going to talk about that at the end. But first, before we get to that genius zone, it is, we put ourselves in the incompetent zone. So what is an incompetent zone, you may ask? Well, an incompetent zone is that we don't do things well, okay? So an example would be, maybe you're not very good at housework, okay? Laundry and maybe organization skills, things like that, okay? And what ends up happening is that we keep ourselves in that moment, in that time of being that incompetence, because in our minds, we want to do well, right? We don't sit here and say, oh man, like, I don't want to do well today. You know, you wake up in the morning, you're just like, oh well, you know, I don't care. No, we wake up in the morning and it's like a new day, right? That we want to be the best version of ourselves, right? But sometimes we allow ourselves to not do well because we stay in these zones. So incompetence is that we try to do things that we don't do well at, but what ends up happening is that we discourage ourselves, okay? So what you could do there is maybe hire somebody that does better, that is better at it, and save you time, and you can focus on things that you do well and, you know, progress, okay? So the next zone is competence. Competence is where you know how to do it, but again, other people do better at it than you, okay? So again, that could be that you could hire somebody, okay? So, and then the other one is our excellent zone. So you may think for a second, well, I want to be in an excellent zone. That's a good thing, right? Doesn't that sound great? You know, that you want to stay in your excellent zone? Well, what happens with excellent zone is that you transition through your different zones. So you can be incompetent, then you become competent, and then you become excellent at that task, okay? So for instance, maybe you are really great at, I don't know, what could we give an example? Selling, okay? Let's say that you're really great at selling, and that you're the top of this, you're the top of the sales. Everybody looks up to you. You have people asking you, like, how do you do this? You know, how have you achieved this success? And so you feel great about yourself because you're doing really, really well. But what ends up happening with this is that we kind of get more of like our ego, and we stay there. Why? Why would we stay in our zone of excellence? Why wouldn't we want to push and go into the genius zone? Because we are comfortable. We are secure, right? That we feel great, you know, that we've had our success. But what is going to push us more to have more success? You know, a lot of times we hold ourselves back because we're too afraid to take that leap of faith. We're too afraid to start a new business. We're too afraid to leave a secure job, you know, for maybe something, a better opportunity that we feel. Or we hold ourselves back in relationships, maybe because we don't want to push past our fear, you know, of rejection, or our fear of not saying what we truly feel, because maybe we feel like we're going to hurt their feelings, you know. So this was like so mind blowing to me, because it's with everything in our life, you know, with every part, like opportunity and everything, right? So we're at the end, and we're going to talk about our genius zone. So I'm super excited. I know that I want to hit my genius zone, and I know that you do. And I know that this book and this series is going to definitely achieve you to get your success and get you out of being stuck and getting you out of feeling that pain and that guilt and any feelings that you're feeling. This is truly one of the answers. I'm confident. Okay. So your genius zone is your ultimate path to your success. You're uniquely suited for. So this is where your why comes in. And I know so many people are like, everyone says, oh yeah, you have to find your why. You have to find your why. I'm still trying to find my why. Mike tells me all the time, you know, like, Bree, you got to dig deeper. You got to find your why. And I know that part of my why is definitely to help women and children that maybe it's like with a shelter or something like that because of my childhood and how I grew up. But I don't know how it's going to happen, right? And I don't know exactly what it is. I just know that I love to help empower and to inspire, especially women. You know, I love to empower everybody, but empowering women makes me feel so great. So this is one of the things that I'm doing is this series because I want to help you change your life for the better. I want you to step into your zone, your genius zone and your courageous zone, because that's truly where your success lies. That truly is where you will find your passion and where you will make the difference of, you know, the world that we live in. Okay? So I hope you guys joined this broadcast. This book has fired me up. Like, it has given me just this, like, I feel like fireworks are just like boom, 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 right? Because I am really finding my passion of reading. I used to, I like to read, but when I find books that are just like life-changing, it is just incredible. Okay, so I'm super excited for tomorrow's episode. I haven't even looked what chapter 2 is because I was just meditating and really absorbing what chapter 1 was. And honestly, this episode of chapter 1 could probably be 5 episodes. So I encourage you that if you want to follow along and get the book, it is The Big Leap by Gay Hendrick. And I'm not going to have the physical book anymore because I realized that I don't have a lot of space. So I have decided to go ahead and go electronic. So I'm going to be reading them on my phone. So I won't have the visual, but it is The Big Leap, Gay Hendrick, and what it looks like is 2 fish bowls with a fish jumping to go into the bigger bowl. Okay, so I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Monday, a new start of the week, new goals, and I encourage you to find your genius zone and step into it and really truly live your life by your design. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great day. Bye.